Okay, this is A Course in Miracles, Chapter 10, The Idols of Sickness. And this is Section 2, The Decision to Forget. The Decision to Forget. Here we go. Unless you first know something, you cannot dissociate it. Knowledge must precede dissociation, so that dissociation is nothing more than a decision to forget. What has been forgotten then appears to be fearful, but only because the dissociation is an attack on truth. You are fearful because you have forgotten, and you have replaced your knowledge by an awareness of dreams because you are afraid of your dissociation, not of what you have dissociated. When what you have dissociated is accepted, it ceases to be fearful. Yet to give up the dissociation of reality brings more than merely lack of fear. In this decision lie joy and peace and the glory of creation. Offer the Holy Spirit only your willingness to remember, for he retains the knowledge of God and of yourself for you, waiting for your acceptance. Give up gladly everything that would stand in the way of your remembering, for God is in your memory. His voice will tell you that you are part of him when you are willing to remember him and know your own reality again. Let nothing in this world delay your remembering of him, for in this remembering is the knowledge of yourself. To remember is merely to restore to your mind what is already there. You do not make what you remember, you merely accept again what is already there, but was rejected. The ability to accept truth in this world is the perceptual counterpart of creating in the kingdom. God will do his part if you will do yours. And his return in exchange for yours is the exchange of knowledge for perception. Nothing is beyond his will for you, but signify your will to remember him, and behold, he will give you everything but for the asking. When you attack, you are denying yourself. You are specifically teaching yourself that you are not what you are. Your denial of reality precludes the acceptance of God's gift, because you have accepted something else in its place. If you understand that this is always an attack on truth, and truth is God, you will realize why it is always fearful. If you further recognize that you are part of God, you will understand why it is that you always attack yourself first. All attack is self-attack. It cannot be anything else. Arising from your own decision not to be what you are, it is an attack on your identification. Attack is thus the way in which your identification is lost, because when you attack, you must have forgotten what you are. And if your reality is God's, when you attack, you are not remembering him. This is not because he is gone, but because you are actively choosing not to remember him. If you realize the complete havoc this makes of your peace of mind, you could not make such an insane decision. You make it only because you still believe it can get you something you want. It follows then that you want something other than peace of mind, but you have not considered what it must be. Yet the logical outcome of your decision is perfectly clear if you will only look at it. By deciding against your reality, you have made yourself vigilant against God and his kingdom. And it is this vigilance that makes you afraid to remember him. Okay, so remember, the basic distinction that Jesus is making is, on this side of the veil, from where we are, there's perception. Where God is, there is knowledge. Truth, knowledge, love, joy. But knowledge with a capital K. And we live in the world of perception, which is constantly shifting and changing. And our perceptions are constantly shifting and changing. So Jesus is encouraging us to perceive along the way that the Holy Spirit, along the lines that the Holy Spirit perceives, which is totally without judgment. And the more that we can perceive that way consistently, the closer we get to our true reality. And Jesus is making the point that we all know what that is. On some deep level, we've all experienced that because that is what we are. And we have temporarily decided not to remember that. We've decided to forget, actually. This is called the decision to forget. We have decided to forget. And we have decided to, play ourselves, our human persona. And most of us actually are very caught up in that and quite enjoy that. And all of us really, even those who are seeking truth, seeking God, it's very difficult to undo the conditioning of the ego and the allegiance with the ego. So Jesus is just reminding us again and again that we have decided against God. We have decided against the vigilance, to be vigilant only for God and His kingdom, and we've been vigilant, very vigilant for the ego. And we don't realize, another point that Jesus is making here is that whenever we attack something outside of ourselves, whenever we look without joy, without love, on anything, we've already attacked ourselves. We first attacked ourselves. We are not at peace. We are not in the joy. We are not in the remembrance. We have decided to forget, and we've decided to be in the world of perception. And the world of perception is up and down all the time. Sometimes we're happy. Sometimes we're sad. We vacillate, and we're on the roller coaster. We're in the drama of life. But Jesus just wants to remind us that what we really want, what we truly, truly, truly want with all of our heart is joy, is the love of God, is that unconditional love. So if we want that, then we have to choose, instead of deciding to forget, we have to choose to remember. We have to choose to remember that that is what we really want. And we have to do that consistently, and we have to, and it will get to the point where we have to constantly remind ourselves until it becomes automatic, until instead of judging automatically, which is the ego, we automatically forgive. We automatically accept. We automatically know that this is all a dream that we're waking up from, and everyone is our brother. Everyone is not just our brother, but everyone is us. On some profound level that we can't fully understand, everyone is actually us in a different form, outwardly a different form, but really in essence the same. And we all want the same thing. And when I judge or attack or condemn or anything, someone else or something else, I've done that to myself. I do that to myself, and even before I do that, I have already done that to myself. That's just an outward manifestation of the attack that I've made upon myself. And when it goes back to it, if you go far enough, it's really, we're afraid of love. We think that God could never forgive us, and we can never be at peace. We can never find peace because we're horrible, and we deserve everything we're gonna get, and everything we're getting, and we're just a stinker, and everything we do stinks to high heaven, and heaven might hold a place for us, or so they say, but we don't really believe that. We keep condemning ourselves to hell on whatever level that we do that. Some may, on the surface, someone may seem very together, they have it all together, but if you go into their psyche, it's not always the case. It's not always true, and in fact, most of us, if not all of us, are in suffering, and we're scared and alone, depressed, feeling despair and hopelessness. And the Course is presenting the way out. if we want it. So I'll leave it at that. This was a short section, and this chapter is called The Idols of Sickness, and the next section is called The God of Sickness. So stay tuned for the next installment. Thank you so much for being part of this journey, and I've been reading through the whole text of A Course in Miracles, and we're going to keep going until we get to the end of the text, and then we're going to keep the discussion going. It's going to be just an ongoing online dialogue, monologue, satsang. So see you soon. Thank you.